And I agree. Well, we're fortunate to have our biennial seminar in the comfort of her home with Lelia joining us. As many of you know, she was the 2020 Teacher of the Year, the 2021 NEA Horseman Award recipient, as well as the National Toyota Teacher of the Year. Last week, Lelia was able to share with us how to achieve a greater sense of belonging. Tonight, we're going to hear about the power of belief. And I'm anxious to listen to you, Lelia. I enjoyed your talk last week, and we're very fortunate to have you with us this week. Thank you for taking your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I am so honored to be with you. I'm always excited to be with educators and sisters. So tonight is the power of belief and the impact of what it does on us. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And our belief actually impact our health and impact the resilience. And how do you change your belief? How do you, what is it that you need to do? So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to empower your voice, which whether it's the voice that you are sharing to other people or it's the voice in our head, and then understand body language and how to change yours for resilience. Whether you realize it, according to research, the way we hold our body impacts everything, including our health. And then we're going to do a little bit of yoga for the voice, and then ways to relax before speaking. It's very natural for some of us to speak and have like these butterflies. Some people feel like they're going to faint, but there are ways we can actually overcome that. And then we're going to put it together, how to speak and then be mindful of your body language. And what we're going to do next time, we're going to put everything together, what we have learned last time and today. And then we're going to delve into the structure of a story and how to tell the story. So the impact of body language, I'm going to go ahead and make the screen a little bit bigger. Hopefully you can see that. So actually 7% of our communication is through words. 38% is intonation, and 55 of body language. When I learned this, I'm like, what? Do I speak other languages? Like, no, it doesn't matter how many languages you speak, because you only speak one language at a time. It's always 7% how the communication. So this is what it looks like. Body language is a bigger factor. This is how we communicate. So for example, imagine a student coming to class and has been late very regularly. And then the teacher would say, "Welcome to class." Or, crossing the arm, "Welcome to class." It's the same statement, but it doesn't have the same meaning. We can say the second one, maybe it was sarcastic, or the second one really doesn't feel good. And that is what they're talking about. Body language impacts the meaning of the words. So, what is it? So body language is, this is a description. It's an exchange. It's interpreted between people on an unconscious level. This is why sometimes people say, I have a bad feeling about this person, or this person is really not genuine or not authentic. And so people with the most conscious awareness, when you understand this and you learn some of the strategies, you will have an advantage over those who really don't have this basic understanding of body language. So how we position our body. For example, somebody coming really, really close, in many culture where people come really close and it feels very uncomfortable. I'm like, oh, somebody's in my bubble space. So the closeness is space between people. Also, when you were really far apart, it also feel like this person is distant. Our facial expression, our eyes, different cultures have different expectations of the eyes. How we touch, for example, if somebody's speaking and maybe cracking their knuckles, or having this feeling tense or uncomfortable about speaking. And how our body connects with nonverbal things. For example, if I'm speaking, I'm behind the podium and I'm constantly touching the podium. And then the breathing, how we breathe when we speak. So we're going to talk about all of those today. Actually, the posture of our body impacts our emotions and our state of being. And it also impacts how other people see us. For example, they will say, okay, well, this person is confident, or this person is approachable, or is a. So, for example, in one of the studies they have done, when women especially, they speak and they tilting their head like, "Hi, how are you? How are you today? I had a great day. Thank you so much." So the tilt of the head is seen by a lot of the executives and by a lot of the males as being a lack of confidence, as lack of confidence, sometimes even wishy-washy. And they say those people do not get opportunities for promotions in every industry. Um, so and then it does impact how people see us, and it does impact our careers. And here we go. So it says posture: standing tall, with shoulders back, so standing up. Eye contact with feeling relaxed. The gesture, the speech, slow and clear. So they say if you're speaking about 110 to 150 words per minute, that comes across as you are a very confident person, as you are charismatic, versus somebody who is speaking very fast. So which one would you prefer? Imagine we have students in my classroom and we are going to talk to have a test. So this is what I would say. I'm going to give you scenario one and I'm going to give you scenario two. So scenario one. Okay, class, today we're going to take a test. You need to clear your desk, get a paper and pen so we can get started right away. All right, scenario two. Okay, today we are going to take a test. Please have something to write on and something to write with. Clear your desk so we can get started on the test. Would you prefer one or would you prefer two? Two. So, one research that was found when teachers speak at the beginning, they actually induce anxiety in students just by speaking like that. So, slowing down your voice can help the other person feeling calm. About eye contact. So it is considered rude in many cultures, except the US, for people to maintain eye contact. And how do you navigate that? So for me, I grew up in North Africa, and it is considered a horrible thing to do to look at someone in the eyes. When I was in sixth grade, my teacher was my language arts teacher. He was teaching a unit on the Holocaust, and he said there were 6 million Jewish people who were persecuted during World War II. I was a sixth grader. I really had no idea how much was a million. Is it a big number? Is it a little number? So I lifted my eyes up and looked at my teacher, and our eyes got met. Our eyes met. He had a book he was reading from. He kept reading from his book. He didn't pause, and he came to my desk and he hit me across the face as hard as he could, that my ear had this ring. It felt like it was a ringing. My skin, my cheek was burning, like, and my tooth hurt so much, like I couldn't even just say anything. I didn't know what I did wrong, and of course I was scared to look up again. And then at some time, our neighbor come, a woman, she was a good friend of my grandmother, and came and she said, "Well, my son is gonna get married to Jamila, which is our neighbor." And she said, "She is so wonderful." And I looked up like, what? What is wonderful about her? And she said, this woman, this person engaged to, when you talk to her, she never ever lift her eyes off the floor. I'm like, oh, I had no idea. This is my culture that I did not know. And once I stopped doing eye contact, I had no problem. I was treated well at my school, was treated well in my own country. And then I come to the US and they say, you need to have maintained eye contact. I'm like, oh no, we're not doing this. No. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And they say, Layla, you want to go for a job interview? You have to maintain eye contact. Like, and I tried so many times, and jobs after jobs, it just didn't work. So the way I navigated to be able to get a teaching job, and I actually, before teaching, I got a job with the airlines. So I would take things with me and show a picture, like, okay, this is my portfolio. These are some of the things I have done. And then I needed to start doing public speaking, and I needed to advocate for children. And I told myself, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And then it came to eye contact again. I'm like, I can't do this. So I had to change my language. I had to change what I tell myself to say, well, now I'm struggling, but I need to work on that. So this is what I did. I would go home and I try to practice with my dog. And I look at my dog in the eyes, and then I turn back and he's still looking. I couldn't do it. So I had to tell my family to say, please help me. I need some help with eye contact. So eventually I got some training, and I was told that you really don't have to do eye contact. If you look right here between the middle, the person cannot tell that you're not looking at them, and it would look like you're maintaining eye contact. So that is my secret. That's how I do it. But for me to look at people in the eyes, I can't, because in many cultures, it's considered a challenge. Like, you want to fight, then you go look at someone in the eyes. But also, for all of my life, I was told that is disrespectful. I taught in Japan, and I was told that is disrespectful. And I went to, when I came, people thought I was Hispanic, and I didn't speak Spanish. So I went to Mexico and I went to Guatemala to learn the Spanish, and it's the same thing in their culture. You don't do eye contact. So I try to do it now. I do it. I got better at it, but it's still not a normal thing for me. It's a very unnatural thing to do. So this is a quick reference, and what do that mean? So when you're speaking to someone, and if you're looking, so I'm looking to you're right. So I'm looking here where it says recalling an image. Let's say you're speaking to me and you say, well, you like the house, you saw this house you want to buy. So what does it look like? So I'm looking up, and so when you're speaking to someone and the person lifts up, that means they are visual learners, and they are trying to remember what the picture was. And this is, to me, was very helpful when I work with students. If I'm looking up here and you say, what is your ideal vacation? So I might look up like, oh. So if I'm not looking at you, because I could be this visual learner. And the next one is to tell somebody, okay, what is the song that you heard? So if I'm looking here, I'm trying to remember the song. If here is I'm trying to dream it up, whether I'm a creator of music. And here, so it's about remembering. So how did you feel? Like somebody going to a counselor, and so how did it make you feel? So you would be looking down, trying to remember. And then here it says, what would be, or if you're trying to think of a conversation between two people, it says, so let's say the student got bullied and they're trying to remember, and they're looking down trying to remember. And so sometimes these individual are considered, when they're not doing eye contact, as if they're not sure of themselves, or maybe they they're considered liars. But because one time I asked an administrator and I says, why did this student get punished? And said, well, obviously they didn't do eye contact, that they were lying. So that's why some people um, cannot maintain eye contact. So it's not only, it can be culture, but it can also something more than just the culture. So how do you build rapport with people? If you look over here, these are some pictures. This is President Trump. When you're greeting someone and the person put their hand on, it is actually power. It's about power. And it means wanting to have the upper hand. So this is considered, this picture went to, there's a lot of conversation about this around the world, to show, look at what he has done to another world leader. um, this is another thing. This is also considered disrespectful, where it means I'm having the upper hand over you. So all these body language have a meaning. Also, the other one, it means, this gesture means that I'm not gonna compromise. It's always gonna be my way. So if you look at picture A, the picture here, and the other picture, based on what I just shared, which one do you think would be picture one, or would it be picture two that is considered better? If you were one of this person being greeted and you see this person with a tie, which one would you prefer? One, which is this one right here, or two, which is a person trying to reach to that person, lean, and so it would be picture one. So this is why sometimes when people go for a job interview and they don't get the job, and interviewer, the person who's hiring, they feel like I don't know something about that person. So when they went back and do research, they found out it's things like these little things that upset people and cause us to be judged. So what is the best way to help you develop rapport? When you are speaking, they say having the arms, the hands open exactly like this. It means genuine. It means I am open, I am honest, I am authentic. I'm giving you everything that I have. So you notice a lot of people doing a TED talk, people who have training, this kind of training before they do a presentation. And also they say when you are doing this, it actually help you breathe better. And so your presentation and your speaking is going to be much better than if you were closed up and you had your hands or you're crossing your arms. So looking at this picture of two world leaders, the president of Egypt and President Bush, both of them, they are building a rapport. So if you look at their bodies, they are close, they're proximate to each other, and both arms open. So they have that trust. They have established trust with each other. Now, this picture, you will see this, a lot of people do this. They take a professional photo and they cross their arms. So this is actually not a good thing. Being closed means lack of trust, low self-esteem, worried about being judged. When I took a photo for my LinkedIn, my first photo before I knew this, I had the same exact photo. But then once I learned about the body language, I changed it to actually, even though the photo is to the top, below the photo, my arms are actually very opened. And the first photo, it's the same exact photo. The first photo, I had 18 connections, just 18 followers. And I did that within the first, it took me for 3 years. After 3 years, I had 18 people. When I changed my picture, when I had it more open, within a year and a half, I had 20,000 followers. So it was the same information. I didn't add anything. I didn't do anything different. I'm the same person, but just by opening it up, it made it different. Um, so your body language definitely has a lot of impact when you're taking a photo for your social media, where you're taking a picture, opening your arms. Again, even if people you don't see, it just has that feeling like people can see anything that you can see about your arms. So how to improve your body language, how to relax. So the impact of posture on the voice. So this is something important. What I would like you to do, come to the edge of your seat, you know, come to the edge of your seat. So take a scan of your body. I mean, think about before we've done this, what were you doing? Close your eyes for a moment. And just before you came to the edge of seat, how were you seated? Think about keeping your eyes closed. What are your shoulders like? I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to see you. My eyes are closed. And obviously, I can't see you when I'm speaking. So, what was your body language like? What were you like? What are you like most of the time when you are on a Zoom? Or what are you like when you are by yourself or watching TV? So, now this is how it impacts your voice. Now, I'd like you to go ahead and close your eyes. I'm going to speak to you two ways, and you're going to tell me which one you like better. Okay? So, hi, my name is Leila. Open your eyes and look at me. This is how I'm standing. And if it helps, this is how by my side I am like this. So I said, hi, my name is Leila. All right, close your eyes again. I'm going to tell you the same thing again. And then I want you to tell me which voice do you like better? Hi, my name is Leila. Open your eyes and look. So this is a voice. This is how I talk how we talk when we are slouched. I'm going to lift up. Can you tell the difference? So if you would, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing for a moment. And if you could unmute yourself. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to show you again. So having the whole screen up. And I'm seated at the edge of my seat. And what I did is my shoulders are actually down away and my chin is upward. And I actually had no idea that I was speaking the other way around for many years. So your chest is a little bit, so we usually don't do this because we feel like, oh God, I'm not going to lift my chest up, God, no. And so for a long time, I was like this. So for a long time I would sit like this and speak, and I would close in and I'd have my arms like this, and then I stood like this. Can you tell the difference?
Yes.
And so a lot of the time you actually do not know the difference. It For me, it took me a while to realize it and see it, and I recognized it when I recorded my voice. So what happened when you are bending the other way, where it's when we're bending the other way, the air does not go in through our lungs completely. So we're actually having less oxygen going in. So several things happen. We have less oxygen going in, so it makes our voice feeble. And the other thing is when we hunch all the time, which is I mentioned that last time, when you have less breath, less air going to your mind, to your brain regularly, that's how we become forgetful. It has nothing to do with the age. So when I taught my students how to do a different posture, just by changing the posture, their grades improved a lot, because then they're not forgetful during the test. So as you're coming to the edge of your seat, we're gonna do this. Okay. And then you bring up your chin upward a little bit high, and you can have you want to have your shoulders far away from your ears. And then you're going to take a deep breath in. What's that? And then you're lifting up your chest. And so when you lift your chest, if you can arch your back just a little bit, take a deep breath. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So another thing that happens, for whatever reason, I don't know if you can, it seems like I am having I'm hearing an echo.
I think you need to have a mute. Everybody needs to mute.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is so we'll have you can mute yourself for a little bit, and then I would like you to and actually they say when you even have a little bit of a smile, you're actually working certain muscles when with a little smile, and then standing like this and having all the oxygen going to your mind. Not only it improves your voice, your air, your memory, but also your body knows that you are at ease. But when you are crossing your arms all the time, just crossing your arms, hunching your shoulders, you are dumping cortisol, which is that chemical that causes you to feel stressed and anxious. So even on your own, at your own home, try to keep this pose when you're seated. It helps your memory. Like I said, it helps your breath. It helps your feeling at peace, feeling calm. All right. So another thing that you can do to help your voice and to help you at ease before I go to speaking. So as I'm sitting, you're going to lift your arms up. All right. So I'm going to lift it up as high as you can. All right. So you lift up your arms up. Okay. And then if you can do this for 60 seconds, what your mind will do, lift it up, keeping think of it as a V for victory. If you can leave your arms up for, I'm going to use a timer. No, keep your arms up. I can see your arms. Keep them arms up. I'm going to use a timer. So you can do that. If you can do it for if you can do it for 2 minutes, your voice will improve so much. So ideally, not only your voice will improve, but this is the opposite of So when you're crossing your arms, it's like this cortisol that's being dumped. It causes anxiety, it causes feeling down, feeling anxious, have the feeling of being stressed. But when you're doing this is the opposite. It makes you it brings this serotonin, the happy chemical. So whenever you're feeling down or stressed, or like, oh, what am I supposed to do next? So just do this of 60 seconds. 2 minutes would be great. So whenever I want something and I need something really, when I went in for my TED talk, I felt like I couldn't breathe. So I couldn't do this up in front of people. So I went to the bathroom and I lifted my arms like this the entire time, and I timed myself for 2 minutes. And then when I walked on the stage, it felt like I had the deed in my pocket, like I owned the place. So if I need something, I'm asking for something, I'm gonna, even when I go to my assistant principal, I get so petrified. I feel like I can't even breathe. So go ahead and bring your arms down, arms down. All right, take your shoulder up as high as you can. And you're gonna roll them down. Lift your chest up and chin up. Take a deep breath. Lift up again as high as you can and roll it down. Great. One more time. Up as high as you can. Bring it down. And as you bring it down, so chin up, take a deep breath. So the way it works, again, we're going to show you how you do that thing when you lift your arms up again. So you don't want to do this. Look at me, how I do this. This is wrong. After you lift up your arms, you want to bring your shoulders down. So instead of this, down. So you want the shoulders away from your ears, but your arms up. Okay? All right. So hopefully you are still seated at the edge of your seat. Chin up. And then you keeping your knees forward. And you can put your hands on your knees. And remember to keep your shoulders away from your ears and your chin up. And then you're going to turn as much as you can one side. And this is like, they call this a spinal twist. And hold. And then release. Come forward to the center and release. Take a deep breath. Inhale through the nose. Hold for the count of 4. And then exhale very slowly for the count of 8. Very slowly. Yeah. All right, we're going to go keeping the knees forward, keeping your hip forward. And then you can have your hands on your knees if you want to. And then you are going to go turn the opposite direction for the spinal twist as far as you can. And then you can look to the opposite side. So whatever. So I'm going to turn to my right. And I'm going to turn my head to my right. I don't know if you can hear me because I'm moving away from my computer. So if I was doing this. And hold. Release and come forward. So release. Take another deep breath. So inhale. So anytime you feel like you really need to recollect yourself before a speech or anything that's important, a phone call you don't want to make, you can do these exercises. Take a deep breath. Inhale through the nose. Hold for the count of 4. And then exhale through the mouth. I'm going to show you something by hand. So this is called a mudra. And these are exercises, it's something you can do by hand. And so you're going to take your hand and you're going to just interlace your fingers like this. And then you're going to bring both fingers up like this. You're going to just like that. And then from here, you're going to take the other fingers, like the middle fingers, you have them wide open. And what you're going to do is you are going to bring them behind the index fingers. So it looks like this. And then you can bring that, put it on your knees. You can close your eyes if you want. Remember, shoulders away from the ears, chest up, chin up. And then you can close your eyes and take your mind to your breath. What is it like now? Keeping your fingers where they are. And notice how your breath will slow down just by doing this gesture. How's your breath? And then you can release. And now you're going to bring the back of your hands just like this, open on your knees. So you're doing like this on your knees. And then make an intention, create an intention, create an intention for yourself. And then release and relax. Of course, release and relax doesn't mean relax. Go back to the hunching pose. So you can relax, but see, can you do this? Can you relax and keeping your shoulders up? Can you keep with the breath? And to me, when I started doing this, like, oh man, this is a lot of work. I'd rather do the other way. And then I noticed how my voice started sounding like nasal, and it started squeaky, and it sounded feeble. And so when I stopped doing that, I became mindful, even in the classroom. And within really days, a few things I noticed. I stopped having lower backpack, no, the, when we hold the backpack, when we carry things and evenly, I stopped having pain in my back. So just by sitting like that and not slouching at home or watching TV or whatever it is that you're doing. Another thing I noticed that I don't need to have all these reminders, because sometimes I put it in sticky notes and then I forget where I put my reminders. So another thing you will notice is that your memory improves, and that's really has to do with the breath. Other thing is I notice that I feel at ease and relaxed. Like I don't feel like so much anxious, whether I'm in traffic or before an important meeting. So it helps your well-being just doing a very few things. uh, I'm going to share my screen again. All right, so we talked about the impact of the posture on the voice, and we did a few yoga to relax the body. We did the breath with the fingers. That's what I did is called the mudra, Mudra, with your hand. So whether you yawn or whatever, or you sneeze or you cough, this is your body is trying to release. So some other tips you can do to actually help you before you speak. Obviously, avoiding caffeine. If you have something really important or you're going to do a talk, caffeine, you avoid that. Maybe you want to have like ginger tea or something. Also, drinking something warm will help. And what to tell yourself. So, conscious versus subconscious. So, if you tell yourself, I'm going to do great, your subconscious mind will actually help you get there. Uh, let's see here. So, we're going to practice. I'm going to see about, I don't know if we can do this. About would be really great if we can do this where you are going into a room. We have not practiced this, but you know what? Maybe this is a good time we can practice and see if we can do this. So maybe our host can have this. I don't know. Can we do a meeting room and then have each people like maybe two and see if you can practice by looking at the person and then introduce yourself, talk. And then as you're doing this, what you want to do is talk while you're speaking the entire time. You want to sit up, and you can look at your partner, make sure you're looking for their how their posture is, that they're not hunching down. and then just say something, that their name and which club or organization, and then something they're grateful for. And also, by the way, gratitude before you do a speech or anything important will help you um, be at ease. So can I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Is it possible? So I see the breakout room. We
I made,
have,
I made you a host, Layla.
all right. So it says we have 28. So if we did a breakout room of 14 people, of 14, so that would give us, and then we will see this. So I've never done this before with this group, but I've tried it with my students. You know, if we fail, it's fine to fail. And so here's the goal. Here's your assignment, is to keep your posture. And by the way, one way you can help looking like I am at the center, what I have done, I put some books underneath my computer. But you don't have to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and send you to your breakout room. Introduce yourself. Talk about something you're grateful for. So introduce yourself, something you're grateful for. And you want to make sure you're using your new posture, how you're going to speak from now on, so that you have a lot of power in your voice. Okay. All right. So you already have, okay. So remember what you need to do. You will need to join when it gives you your room. You want to join that room. Are you able to join the room with someone?
I was the only one in my breakout room.
Oh, well, I can be your partner.
All right.
Okay.
I was the only one in my breakout room.
So was
Oh
I.
my gosh. All right. Well, we can be partners. All of us here, we can be partners. All right. So go ahead and tell me. So maybe Eileen and Diana.
All right. Hi,
Hey,
Diana.
Eileen.
Hi, Diana. I'm Eileen. You know me. I'm sitting up straight. I try to practice this before Layla encouraged it, but I slouch when I'm watching television. And it gives me a backache.
I'm sure I do. I'm usually freezing to death, so I'm usually covered in a blanket when I'm watching TV. So,
Oh, well. Well, it's the first time I was ever in a breakout. No, that's not right. I judged some speeches for an international group, and I went to a breakout room to watch them.
Okay. So Eileen, tell me something you are grateful for.
I am grateful for the fact that I am able to live comfortably and have good health and can do what I need to do and want to do without any issue.
And Judy. I don't know if Judy can hear us.
she
You're
can
with
hear
us, Judy.
She just is.
Diana.
You're
Okay.
muted, Judy.
Judy. Yeah, you are still muted. We can see you, but we just can't hear you. I think we can hear you now. You are not muted. Let's see. Tell me something you are grateful for using your posture and your power voice.
Oh, I am grateful for the fact that I can get up every morning and do the things that I want to do and have good health.
I am grateful that I survived this year. With all the students, I actually wasn't so sure at all. And I'm grateful for the weather this afternoon. It's a very nice weather, not freezing too much, and grateful to be with you. Let's see, who would be, we have Barbara, but I think Barbara left. Carolyn?
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm Carolyn Kibble from Cadiz, Ohio, president of Alpha Mu. We're in a small rural area. Thankful we don't have the cicadas, but enjoying the weather other than the humidity, and enjoying the retirement that I have, but also the connection through our DKG sisters to keep in touch with the educational fields of today and what's going on with a profession that I truly enjoyed and had a passion for. And I'm thankful for leaders and people like you, Leila. You give us the inspiration to continue and go on.
Thank you. So let's see what else. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and close the rooms. So they're gonna be given a few seconds and then everybody will join again. I think everybody is with us. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again.
Had 28.
28, okay.
We had 20 and we all have 18 with us unless they all decided to leave.
We hope not.
I know.
It says 19, but you know, we are learning something new.
There's more coming back now. We've got 20. There they go. 21.
Diane, was there something that you had overridden with the mute? Because I could not hear Beth Archer.
No.
But I couldn't hear her.
Was everybody else in a room together?
I believe I was the only one in my room. I saw no one else.
I
So
was
I
in a
looked at
room
my-
of one also.
Yes.
Me
So
too.
I sat there for a while waiting to see what happened, and then I joined the group back.
I did the same thing, Joyce.
I'm wondering if we've got everybody back. How do we get everybody back?
Well, there was
Layla?
a
They would need to, it's supposed to, after a few seconds, bring everybody whether they want to or not.
mine did. It
Brought
had
you
a
back.
message of 56 seconds.
Yeah. So unless they logged out, maybe if they did that by accident.
Mhm.
Yeah, the leave button was right next to the get out of the break room button, so they might have hit that by
Right.
mistake.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So I
Okay.
will share the screen again. Okay. So we did the practice. We tried it for today. Maybe next time what we do is put 3 and see what happens. Because I think maybe when people, when there was 1, I think some people hit the leave instead of the, so that's what happened. If you had 1, it means that your partner have left, clicked on the wrong one. So maybe we'll do 3. So we talked about taking turns apply the body language, and then you can share if you feel comfortable. So we're going to talk about mirroring. What does mirroring means? What is it? Why, when, and how do you do that? So a mirroring is when you copy what the other person does. And that is a technique that is extremely effective. I don't feel comfortable, but sometimes I will do this. And what it is for example, let's say you have a person A who is an HR, and you have an interview with somebody who is being interviewed. So the HR person could be speaking really loud, and the person who's being interviewed is really soft spoken. So they are not fit. So sometimes, just because of that difference, the HR person will not hire the candidate, because they think, okay, well, this person is really not a strong candidate. If the HR person who is interviewing, if you're being interviewed by someone or speaking to someone, and that person is really soft spoken, and the other person come in speaking really loud, then they think, ooh, that person is too arrogant or too. So this is when you want to mirror someone. Like you want to go like I went in for House Bill 110 to, I think that was in March 10th maybe. So I went in and I listened to them first, listened to the person speaking, and then because it was really important to me, I wanted that to not pass. And I was there to represent my students and the families. Like, this is really important. So when I saw the person speaking kind of louder, I worked really hard. It wasn't my nature, but I tried to speak a little bit louder just to be like that person. And when I noticed a person speaking slowly, I was extremely slowly, like not slow, like trying to, the rate of voice was not fast, obviously. I tried to speak like this. So I had a longer pauses between each word because I wanted to match the person speaking. And in the end of the day, I won and I ended up getting the bill, whatever I wanted, just got it. So that is what mirroring means. Okay, so I'm gonna share with you. I don't know if I can show you this. I don't know if it would work or not. Amy Cuddy is an amazing person. I'm gonna show you all the video that I watched that helped me a lot. I don't know if we can see a video.
The Capital One Saver Card. You earn unlimited 4% cash back on dining out or ordering in. And now, 3% back at grocery stores. Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Dad came over to me and said, son, it's okay. You flunked your exam.
All right, so I'm gonna this is one of the person who won the World Championship of Speaking, and he's gonna give few tips on how to have a better body language. And then I'm just gonna show you this, and then the rest of them you can watch on your own, and I will give you the entire slide presentation.
You already got arrested.
One of the most important things that you need to realize is when you get nervous, you try to cover your vital organs. And that's why you would see a lot of speakers sometimes fold their hands, bring their hands in front of them, and that's a sign of nervousness. Great speakers keep their body open, so there is no barrier between you and me.
Raise your hand if you have an emotional mother. Let me see. Put them all together, you get mama.
And something that when you're starting out, you got to be very conscious about is keep your body open. Here's tip number 2. Have your palms open. Do this exercise with me. Take a look at your palms. Turn them around. Take a look at the inside of your palms again. What side relaxes your eye? If you really concentrate, when you look at the inside of your palm, your eye relaxes. And a lot of great speakers, they open their palms towards the audience, showing a more openness. And that allows the audience to connect with the speaker better, as opposed to showing the back of your hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm a dreamer, I'm a speaker, and I learned the unfailing quality of unconditional love from my wife.
Number 3, get comfortable with the stage. When you're comfortable on the stage that you're speaking on, your body is free to move about, use body language. But if you're not comfortable with that stage, and if you feel foreign on that stage, what happens is your body language starts to constrict and you start to cover your body up.
And when a son sees a mother cry, tears of shame, That's the life-changing moment. She looked at me and said, son, I want you to be a better man.
Whatever you do, don't touch the podium. As soon as you do that, you're going to be leaning on it. You're going to be shaking that podium, and you will be doing all sorts of things on the podium. So what you do is you keep a comfortable distance between you and the podium. You can keep your notes on it, but you can use your hands to gesture. Don't rest your hands on the podium. So keep a distance, and you can gesture, use body language as you want from a little distance from the podium.
Okay.
I won't grow up. I won't grow up. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. Just a...
Sorry. All right. Now I would like to know if you happen to have any questions, because we have 5 minutes. I will send you those links. They're really good links. I learned a lot, especially the one from Amy Cuddy. And I will also send you a talk of one of the world championship winner from Toastmaster. Questions for me? Is there any takeaway? I hope you learned something from tonight session.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In reference to exhaling. Physical therapy people have told me exhale through your mouth. You mentioned that. Why is that?
When you are the reason you do it mouth, because you are instead of from the nose, like if you from the nose, sometimes if you have like congestion, then you're not making the most of it, but your mouth would never have a congestion. So
Okay.
sometimes you don't even realize it. Sometimes you may have something like if you are having a little bit of anything in your nose, or maybe if you're having allergies, and people who have allergies a lot, they don't even think about it. But when you take an exhale from the mouth, you don't have to do it all the time. It's not a comfortable thing to be doing all the time, but only when you have something important. Like, okay, I'm mindful right now. I'm going to have something important. I feel anxious about being on a plane or whatever it is. I'm going to go ahead and relax, and I'm going to go ahead, inhale through the nose, and then exhale through the mouth.
So the air exchange is more complete.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
I can stay with you all night long.
Well, so one of the things I want to ask is really the techniques that you are giving us is to also help us to have confidence, because that is something, whether you're slouching, whether you're setting up straight and tall, a variety of different things, listening to the person that's speaking to you, those are all kind of confidence builders, and you want to feel confident, and really, which is belief in yourself.
Yes, it is. Actually, the self-talk, like for example, if I'm constantly speaking like this, they say, if I'm talking to you and I'm doing like this, I'm actually, when I do this for a while, I actually tried it and I recorded myself to see if it's true or not. But you don't get all the full air, and then you start feeling stressed and you come across as not confident. But they said, even if you're by yourself for a few minutes, there was a research done in Switzerland, and they took people who are very depressed, and they say, look in the mirror and use this posture that I have done with you, and then smile for 5 minutes. There is no way, even if you don't feel it, you will smile. Your body will stop dumping in cortisol, and you will feel at ease. You will feel like, oh, okay, what is the next thing I'm going to do? So if you can, at home, practice smiling by yourself, practicing, even if you're cold and you feel like you need to be on the blanket, that is fine. But when it matters, I mean, I can't remember all this time. There's so many things, like remembering to do eye contact, the eye contact. I can't do that all the time. So what I do is, when it's really important, I have something to do, something to ask, meeting my boss, then I will remember to do this. I will remember to run to the bathroom, to just lift my arms up and do all of these strategies, especially when it's really important. And yes, exactly. You want something, then you do it that way. with each other, you can tilt your head all you want.
Mhm.
But when it's really important, or you want to go to the community, or meeting someone, because we all understand these things. We are women, but if we know we're going to be judged, then take every opportunity to make the most. So for me, when I was auditioning and I learned, like, well, I couldn't. I used to speak a lot with my head down, and the reason I'm doing it because I'm actually a visual learner. I'm trying to think this way, and I'm trying to move my head where it is to help me remember. Once I understood, I cut it out, and it really started. After that, I went from not being able to get a job. I had, like, gosh, maybe 50 interviews, and then once I learned these techniques, I walked into the job with him right now, and I before I left the parking lot, I was invited for a second interview. For my second interview with my superintendent, before I left the parking lot, I was given the position. Whereas when I was doing all these bad things in the past, I don't even hear back. They don't even bother. You fill out all the application, you do all that work. They don't even tell you you didn't get the job. Like, I wasn't even worth their time. And it definitely impacts self-esteem.
And that makes so much sense because when you're teaching children, and I don't care what age they are, you have to teach with some confidence. If you can't, if are exuding confidence and showing confidence to some extent, I think it's really hard for a person to take you seriously and to be able to believe and trust in what you have to say. I was kind of surprised about not touching the podium. I find when I'm behind a podium, I want to hold on to it because I am a hand talker. And I think sometimes when I would watch other people use their hands, it distracts me, because I'm looking at how they're using their hands. And I know I'm exaggerating that, but I definitely use my hands, and anyone that knows me would know that. So I would want to grab onto that so that I could focus on what I was talking about and not use my hands.
I used to be that way because my babysitter was Italian, so they use a lot of hand movement a lot, and I caught myself, so I recorded myself. When you are in the podium, you want to do the same thing. You will also want to convey your message with power. So the classes this year when I was teaching at the high school, and I was told some of the students are really badly behaved. So when I went in, I needed to do this to establish trust, and of course I have a podium in my classroom, and I needed to have notes to be able to read things. So I did the same thing. I lifted up, I tried to breathe. Classes are packed, and I was able to maintain discipline. And I noticed the same kids in mine well behaved, but when they go somewhere else, they didn't do the same thing. It's the same kids. So even behind the podium, leave a little bit of space and use your hand. Also, it's kind of hard, but you can practice putting your hands. Try to go over your speech before, or read and keep your hands. And I record myself with my cell phone or something to see how did I do.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? As I'm looking down through.
You can also write your questions in chat. You can also write them, and you can ask them next time at the beginning if you would like. Did you get anything out of tonight's presentation?
Excuse me?
I said, did you get anything out of tonight's presentation? I just want to make sure that your time is valuable,
Yeah.
That I value it, and I feel like it was worth something. You got something out of it that you can use, so that I'm not continuing on this pattern and keep bringing things that are not relevant. So that's why I want to ask if you got something.
I think maybe they're just sitting here absorbing it all. Because actually, when you stop to think about it, I don't want to say thrown, or you've given us a lot to think about, for sure.
Leila, I consult, and I have to evaluate school systems. And I've discovered that I have to slow my rate of speech down when I'm in Texas, especially in certain parts of Texas, because my rate of speech tends to be faster. It can be a real distractor. So I'm very aware of that. And the reverse is true when I go to California, because for some reason, if I speak at this rate, it annoys people. So I think that you have to be cognitive of where you are, in what state, not necessarily culture, but geographically.
That is called mirroring. Remember when I said if
Yes.
people will be irritated, so I'm here in New York and I listen first and then I will speak to that rate of that person. And then people I can see that it's like bring them a smile. Like today I went for coffee and I spoke as fast as he could and he was extreme. It made his day. I'm like, okay, if I can make his day by speaking, I was speaking just like this. Thank you so much. I would like to have a latte. What kind of coffee? And it just spoke like that. And the guy was just all at ease, like, wow, this is to me. I would not like this tone of voice. I wouldn't want to do this. But I heard him speak before. And it's interesting because a few days ago, the same person goes, well, this person speaking so slow is going to make a career out of asking for the cup of coffee. So I remember that conversation. I'm like, okay, I'm going to practice before I got in my car. I'm going to speak it very fast because I want to have a good cup of coffee. So
Yeah.
it worked.
I will tell you something. Back in the early 70s, when I taught high school English, we had a segment on speech. And after you've taken your students through, before they finished the whole unit, they had given 3 different speeches, and we recorded one for them to see themselves. But after you've been through that 5 classes a day, you know, it gets in your head and you become very observant of how others speak. And when you have someone in power, I had a principal that only spoke with his hand in front of his mouth. And I have a hearing loss. So it drove me nuts because he was my boss. I couldn't say, put your hand down, you know, but just you notice little things. You notice people who love to give speeches, but the word is every other sentence, you know. So I will warn you all, once you incorporate this, you're going to notice how everyone speaks.
The and they are now called killer filler.
Yes.
And take time. So they say if you pause between the words, you'll have less likely the and the So that is it for tonight. Happy to let you talk among yourselves if you would like. You can, oh, by the way, I will send you, Diana, I will send you the PowerPoint presentation because it will have those links. Or if you want, I could just send you those links, whatever you would like.
That's fine. Either or, whichever is easiest for you. It's fine. And I do have the information from last week, so I will put it in an e-blast and send them both out at the same time.
Good, good.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Well, Leila, again, thank you so much for spending an hour with us. I greatly appreciate it, and I look forward. I know you mentioned something about delving into the structure of a story, so I do look forward to hearing from you next week and anxious for the rest of our Delta Kappa Gamma sisters to be involved in it as well.
Yes, so next week will be storytelling, and I will start with a story, and then we will prepare you to tell your own stories.
Great. That sounds wonderful. Thanks so much. We appreciate you being with us tonight.
Thank you. Bye. Have a great evening.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Thanks.